Hello and welcome back again with pattern making with Let Morris. We're carrying on with this style. We're now going to be creating the frill over the shoulder going into the panels, and it goes over the back as well. So we're just going to go through that now just to show you how we create that. So we've got the back and the front side panels, and we're going to use those to create our frill. So we've got a new sheet of paper or a clean piece of paper that you've got. We're going to place the front and the back on the paper, and we're going to decide on how far down we want the frill to be, and we're going to take it just above below the bust, and we've decided that's up to you. That's a style feature, and there's not a set measurement. It just depends on how you feel as you're creating. So I'm going to take it below the bust, the actual bust point on the front, and I'm going to take it down on the back, you know, above the waist. So, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not a hard and fast rule to say how far you want it. It's just how you're feeling when you're creating your design. So once I've put a little mark there and one there, I've got it on that side as well. So what the first thing I do, I'm going to create a line on my paper like that, so I can start to work from, and I'm going to put that line, my shoulder line, on it like that, and I'm going to do the same thing for the back. I'm going to turn the pattern piece over so that they're matching up, they're a line, and as you can see, the two shoulders are the same because we've made them the same, so they match. And once I've got that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to mark along that edge of the front section down to the mark where how far I want it, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back. I'm just going to mark along there, and I'm just going to stop there. And once I've got that, I am going to, you make sure that your patterns are secure so that they're not shifting. You know, you can stick it down with a bit of sticky tape and or prick stick and make sure it's firm. So you've got those marks, and I'm also going to mark the end of my shoulder there where that comes. And once I've got that, those marks, very important, mark along the panel lines. You join the shoulders like that. You put a mark where you want the frill to finish, and back, over the back and over the front. And then what you do is you mark a little bit of the end of your shoulder point at the armhole. And once you've got those points, you can take away your draft. So you've got those points. And now what we do is we're going to decide on how long we want the frill to come over our sleeves, and that depends on you. And I'm going to take it 4 inches. So then I mark it along there, and once I've marked it, I am now going to connect that line to that line. You can do a straight line, but we want it to be slightly curved. So I'm just going to curve it back into there, and then I'm going to curve it to the front shape here that I've got. Okay, just like that. You can do a straight line and then you do your curve from your straight line, but I'm just going to go straight ahead and curve it into there. So I've got the shape. So now this is your shoulder seam. I'll just put it on there. And this is your panel seam line. You can see that it's slightly curved here, but that's where the bust is. But so I am just going to straighten that up so that it's a straight line, not curved, because I don't want a curved line there. And the same thing at the back, it's slightly curved there. So from that point, I'm going to just straighten that up. So we get those lines. So once you've got that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out this shape and I'm going to separate it. I'm going to put some slash lines on it. So like I'm going to put one about there and one about there and one on the back and like that. So I'm going to write on here, this section is back, B for back, and this section is front. So once I've done that, I'll just draw lines through it like this. So these are going to be my slash lines like that. So once I've got that, I'm going to cut out this piece pattern shape like this. Follow that shape round. You can see it's a bit pointed, but don't worry about it at this stage because we're going to get nice curved lines in there. And then we're going to take this piece off. This is our outer, this is the outer edge of the frill. So we take that off. And once we've taken it off, it looks like this. But don't worry about it, it'll soon take shape. And once again, I'm going to put a line in on my pattern piece. Like that, so that is my center. And now I'm going to slash on these lines here. Not all the way through. I'm going to leave a little bit dangling there and there. This is all slash and spread method that we do. Slash it and we slash it into there, leaving a little bit dangling. And then I'm going to sellotape this to my paper. Make sure the center line is touching that line that I've drawn on here. I'll just put a little bit of a prick stick on that and bring that over to that line so that it touches like that and it's in place, so my hands can move around to open out and spread it. So I'm going to do this front section first. So I'm going to open out as far as I can go, right? You just open it out as far as it will let you go, because it won't let you go more than it can. So, but they're evenly spaced as much as we can, in there and in there. Can you see that? There and there. So we opened it out. Once we've opened out, we can see that the pattern begin to do different shape. Like I'll just mark it to show you what's happening, but don't worry about that at this stage. I'll just put roughly some marks there, and I'm going to mark the outer edge here as well on these pieces that we've slashed and open out like that, and I'm going to mark a little bit along there. So once I've done that, I'm going to do the same around the back. So you're going to open out as far as it would let you go, because this is what we get in all the flute in here. It's beginning to shape as if it's a circle, because we want that fluting. So you open as far as it would let you go. You know, it won't let you go more than you can. So we've got the spacing in there again and in there as far as we can. And once again, we're just going to mark it just a little bit, mark along there and mark along here. Don't worry about the you know, what that you're seeing, because we have to get nice curve, smooth lines as we go along. So just make sure that comes round as far as it can go, and we mark a little bit along there, that there, and a little bit along here, because we have to get smooth lines. So once you've got that, you can then now remove your pattern, this pattern piece that you have, off your paper, and we can then begin to straighten up and curve up the lines. Can you see how it's gone to a point, and it's come up and it's dipped down in a point there and there? So all we have to do now is to work some nice curve onto this piece of pattern paste that we have. So I'm going to start with the outer edge. So you just roughly, and you do it with your French curve if you're not able to do nice curve on your pattern. So basically it's just following the curve round as far much as you can. So I'm taking that to there. So that wants to, you know, curve round a little bit, but we'll just leave that for the moment. And then we're going to do this one, this area here, which is our seam line, our panel seam line, and we need a curve in here as well. So we're just going to curve that up follow the curve, follow it round, get a nice curve. Don't worry about the broken lines, as long as we get nice curve into there, and we've got to follow that round. And once we've curved it, we start to get a curve, we can rub out those broken lines that we have, and we just work at it until we get as much a curve as we can. You know, you can use your French curve to give you some nice curved line if you're not able to do it with a free hand. Okay, so we just curve that round, and then we just take out the lines that we don't want along there, and we do the same thing at this end. Make sure we get some nice curving around these sections here. Okay, so we just curve that around for the moment, and don't worry about it if it's not quite there yet. We then have to make sure we got this measurement here. It's got to fit in the measurement here that we have. This is our draft. We've got to make sure all of this measurement fits back into here and into here. So you've got to measure whatever this is from that point, because this is where we start, from here all the way up to here, and from here up to here, and we've got to apply it, because this is now your shoulder notch, shoulder, S for shoulder notch. Okay, so you've got that there. So from here, we do the back first. From here to here is got to be the same measurement as from your shoulder to that point here. Okay, so with the tape measure we do this, because with the ruler it's not so accurate. So with the tape measure we can do it and get a more accurate measurement. So around there, whatever that is, we've got to make sure that it is the same around that area. So it's exactly the same onto that point. So we know that we're all right with that. So we can make sure that that curves back into there, giving us a nice curve back into that line. Okay, and then we do the same thing from this point here on your draft. You measure it, and whatever it is from your shoulder to there, you've got to apply that measurement here, because it all has to fit in the same place. So once again, I stand up my measure like that, going round, and whatever that is, you've got to measure around and make sure that that fits back onto there, from that point to there. And then I see that it wants to come down a little bit more. So can you see that's where that is? So don't worry about it. All you do is just bring that back into there, and we just take off that one. So now that you've checked it, you know exactly that it fits onto your panel seam, and you can just finish off your curve back into that point here now. So it looks like that. So you get a nice curve down to there like that. So now that you've done that, you can put those away. And what we do is we've got to put 2 notches here for the back and 1 at the front, and then we've got 1 at the shoulder. So once we've done that, we've got to make sure that these notches are on our panel. So, but before we do that, we've got to make sure that we've got our seam allowance on our pattern. So from this section here, we want to add 1 centimeter all the way around, centimeter around this edge, because all we're going to do is overlock and edge stitch. Or if you've got a super lock machine, you just super lock the edge to give it a nice finish as well. And you centimeter all the way around, and this section here you have to also put 1 centimeter, because this is going to be your panel seam line along here. So it's centimeter all the way around this pattern piece, and this is your frill. So we're going to put on here and we're going to cut. We want 2 of these. Cut 2. We want 1 for each side. Actually, we want 1 for this side and 1 for this side. Yeah, 2 of these. We're going to cut 2 of these, and that is our frill. So once we've got that, we're going to use this line as a grain line, or we can have one going across that way. You know, depends on how what space you've got on your fabric. So once you've got, you know, you can use any one of those grain line, and then once that is joined back to your panel, it will just flute and give you that sort of look. Okay, so that is how we create the frill for our dress. So the next thing we want to do before we go on to the sleeve is just to show you how we create the facing for the neckline. So once again, we have a folded piece of paper. We do the front, and we're going to place that on the fold edge of the paper, and we're going to mark around this neckline as we've got it here, along here, and along this area. Do a little bit like that. Okay, and then once you've got that, you can take that away, and what I normally do is just make a facing about 2.5 inches from neck point, and I'm going to follow this down like that, give that shape, and I'm going to take it around. I've taken it down about 3 inches down from the actual point here that we've got. So your facing shape, follow that shape and come round in that area. So that is what our facing looks like. So this is your facing, and we're going to cut 1 + 1 fuse. So that is the shape of your facing, and that's the front. And then the back, you place that on a straight edge, straight line rather, and I draw a line. You place that on there. This is your back neck, and this is going to be the facing. And once again, you mark around the shoulder, a bit of the shoulder around the neckline, and then you can take that off, and then it's got to be the same distance from there to there, and then that's your facing, and you take that, I'll take that straight along the back there like that. So that is your back neck facing, and you can put draw your seam allowance on, because you've got centimetre down there already, and you've already got your seam allowance around the neck, so you can just mark that on. And this is your back neck facing, and you're going to cut 2 of those plus, all right, here, fuse, and that gives the neck body when you finish. So those are your pattern pieces for your front neck facing, your back neck facing, and that is your frill that goes over your shoulder for your dress. So that's how we do the foundation of the dress pattern. So next thing we're going to be doing is the sleeve, but I'm going to do that in another stage. So I hope you're finding that value to you. And once again, if you're not sure on anything, please message me, or, you know, make a comment, and I will look at them and see and help you as much as I can. Be back with you soon. Bye.